Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to get you caught up on a bunch of things as things are going down and in this sort of Tech Watch 2024 that I've been going through. So if you're here for it, I'm going to tell you a couple of new books that I have purchased, a couple of books that I'm planning on reading, and mostly just catching up about what has happened in my life, because I feel like I'm in this space of life where things are changing so quickly that I don't want to I just don't want it. It's hard for me to like let it go. So let go of the feeling that things are changing so quickly. So yeah. Anyhow, if you're new to my channel, then hello, my name is Shelly. Good to meet you. I hope you stick around. I really love books and reading, and I talk about all of that on my channel. And yeah, and so without any further, so I hope you subscribe, stick around. Without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I'm trying to figure out the order of events. It's going to go general life stuff, computer / Booktube, which it bleeds into Booktube, my relationship with Booktube in particular. Then we're going to talk about the books I purchased recently, and we'll end with what I'm planning on picking up next, because that seems pretty clear. So last time I spoke to you, my sciatica was really bothering me. It was super painful. Mostly I was so grateful that the pain didn't run from, sciatica is a nerve that can get aggravated, and in case you've never had it, and I hope you never experience it because it is awful. And for me, it was basically my my hip. It was my left hip, and it ran all the way down to the ball of my left foot. But it didn't actually, there was like a gap. So the pain didn't actually run down my leg. It just felt like it was my foot, the ball of my foot, and my hip that were in like excruciating pain, or it actually developed into that. And once I figured out it was sciatica, it took about a week to clear up. But I started to wear shoes that I knew would not aggravate my back, which were mostly my Birkenstocks. I also started stretching quite a bit, because there are a lot of really wonderful stretches that just help keep your body feeling good, but also that help with that sciatica nerve. And so I started stretching and taking it easy and just really focusing on not fixing, but like babying that area. And so really in about a week, I worked all week, so it started feeling good last weekend. And I was like, I don't know, usually when I go back to work, it starts to get aggravated and everything gets really tight again. But really by the end of this work week, I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling like, I don't know, I'm feeling more like my old self, sort of spry and energetic, and feeling like I can move around and be on my feet all day without having to baby my body, which was really wonderful. Also, my head cold cleared up, which was so great. So I'm feeling not like I'm just all stuffed up, which is how I felt. And those simultaneously, I felt like my body was betraying me, and I was feeling really like it was hard for me to stay in a positive or even a neutral or content, grateful mental state when you're in physical pain, or when I was in physical pain. And so I feel like I'm more myself, and I'm feeling just a whole lot better. Not being in physical pain is a huge blessing. And then I've also had some resolution with my computer. Now I'm filming on my phone, so you probably can see that I don't have my computer back if I'm filming on my phone. And our computer guy has basically pronounced my laptop dead. So what we think happened, and what has been happening, is that my computer has been being charged by basically not the right charging block. So I have a MacBook Pro, and I guess you need a very specific kind of powerful charger to make sure the computer was charged. And the way that our household is set up is that we have chargers set up in 3 different parts of our house. And so I would just use whichever one my computer was at that point in time. So sometimes I'd, have it on Ted's desk. Sometimes I'd have it in like our living room space, our office living room space. So I would just use the most convenient charger for my laptop. Little did I know, and we both learned this together, Ted and I, is that when you're charging your computer with the wrong type of powerful charger, basically one that was not powerful enough to charge my computer, what happens is that it wears on the battery. And so we thought we maybe just could replace the battery in my computer, but instead, and this is like, you know, life lesson, if you have a computer, make sure you're charging it with the right charging port, or maybe look into that so you don't do what I did. But we think that eventually it just fried the motherboard. Isn't that crazy? Like, it just zapped the motherboard. So we think that the computer is like truly, truly dead. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the computer guy has been so patient with my worrisome attitude towards him, and like my anxious, like, are we gonna get it back at some point? And slowly also some work stuff, including like how to work without a computer, has also resolved itself. So it seems like this week was one of a lot of celebration in terms of resolutions, even if one of the resolutions is that we need to buy a new computer for me, which is kind of like not my favorite thing, but you know, it's at least like an answer to this question of like, when am I gonna get my computer back, and am I going to get it back, or is it gonna be months, and all of these things that were swirling around in my head. Now, I kind of alluded it to this feeling in my last video, but I thought I would talk a little bit more about it here. And it's that when I could not participate in Booktube, and I wasn't sure how well filming on my phone would work. You know, again, it's another learning curve. It's figuring out how to do it and how to set it up, how to edit on my phone. I've always filmed and edited with a camera. I filmed with a camera and I've edited on my computer. So I've never done this like phone editing. So it was like a whole new learning curve for me, which sometimes I can be resistant to. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work. And before I had figured that out, there was about a span of a week or 9 days, I think, that was happening as I was trying to figure out, you know, should I film on my phone or should I have this large gap? But as that time was passing, I was struggling to watch Booktube. And I think it was more than just my computer and not being able to participate in Booktube, but it actually felt sad when I was reading. So all of my feelings about Booktube and some of my feelings about reading are all kind of tied together with being able to participate in this reading community. I like struggle to watch people's videos. It truly was making me sad, because usually when I'm watching someone's videos, I'm in this dialogue in my head, and sometimes if I feel the inspiration, which a lot of times I do, I'm like, oh, I want to make a video about that. I want to participate in the conversation. I have something to say. Of course, there are many people that I just watch for entertainment, but I even found that hard to do. I think eventually I would have, you know, if I could never participate in Booktube again, I think I would maybe find a way to participate, whether it be a commenter or just a silent watcher. But my goodness, I didn't realize how much my Booktube watching was tied into my person being a contributor to the community. That was really weird. Also, what was really strange is that I think I use video making and Booktube in general as a stress relief. It's a really wonderful way. It's an easy way to shut my brain off, to not think about all of the worries that life throws at us. It's, for me, Booktube and making videos, editing videos, this whole space is incredibly joyful, and it always has been. It's been a really, really joyful, wonderful place. And I realized that a lot of times I have a project on the go. I have a video that I'm editing or thinking about making or making notes for, or there are people that I'm watching that I'm talking to in my mind and wondering if I'm gonna talk to them through one of the videos that I make. And so it really kind of, it's a wonderful way to like shut off my brain to other things that I find maybe stressful, or things that sort of clutter my brain and put myself in a like, I don't know, like in a worrisome or an anxious place, even if it's like low level. And I realized that I was actually having more time, like I was struggling with staying in a positive space, or I wouldn't even say positive, I would more say I was struggling to shut my brain off from the anxieties of some of this world, like some of the things that were bugging me. When I didn't have you all to talk to, when I wasn't working on a project, I actually had to like find different ways to not entertain myself. That's not the right way of putting it. Find other ways to de-stress, I think. That's right, to like calm those stress symptoms down. Because again, reading a little bit was tied up in this knot of Booktube and computer and participation. And so even reading, I was having like a little bit of a time, like I was having some trouble focusing. And so, so what I ended up doing was I turned to art. I have had a lot of conversations with Ted about just, you know, what's been going on. And as life has gotten less stressful, my sciatica has cleared, my sinuses have cleared, some work stuff has been resolved, my computer there's pretty much an answer to. I realized that, you know, now I'm like needing like this hobby a little bit less. Like I feel a little more calmer in general. But I didn't realize how much I was looking to Booktube to help kind of pivot my mood in a lot of ways. And of course there's so many things. This is, Booktube is like one component to help me feel better. It's not my only way to feel better. Otherwise I would have been incredibly depressed during this time. I love to work out. I love my kids. They make me laugh so much. I love like being with them. And gosh, we were even having like silly times yesterday, like where we were all just laughing like crazy. Basically what I did with my kids, I just want to share because it was so funny, but I drew like the outline of a face and I taped it to the wall, and then I closed their eyes and I spun them around, and then I gave them a writing implement and I said, okay, go to the paper. We helped them find the paper, and I'm like holding their eyes and I'm like, okay, now draw the ears. And so they would try and draw the ears, and of course, since they're blindfolded and a little disoriented, they drew the ears, you know, in all different places. And then I would like, since I have two boys, you know, if it was Graham's turn to draw, Dee is standing there laughing maniacally at this, you know, this little thing that we're doing. And then we would uncover Graham's eyes and he would look at it and laugh maniacally as well. And so it was really just like, there have been so many things like that that have happened and that are a part of my life that bring me so much joy. I love to cook. I love serving others. I love to read. So there are so many ways that I de-stress, or like that I calm myself down or change the channel in my brain when one channel is being really like anxiety or like really eating away at me. And of course it's been easier now that I've been feeling better. But it was interesting it was so fascinating to see myself struggle and to mourn this loss of the computer, even if it was just for a period of time, because I didn't realize or put into place how much I absolutely love and derive joy from, and just get so much out of participating in Booktube. So I hope that makes sense. So it's been weird. My life has been weird. So I'm gonna lean in a little closer so that I can show you the books that I bought recently. Ah! What an epic fail that was. Oh my gosh. I dropped the stand, I dropped my phone. Oh my goodness. We could see how I maybe like short-circuited or like fried my computer now. I'm just not, I'm not the most graceful person. I did buy a handful of books. I think, I don't remember. Did I do it with Ted? I can't remember. But it was during this time where I did not have my computer and I was like, I'm just gonna buy some books. So I'm actually still sticking within my rules of only buying as many books as I have read. So I'm actually within those confines, which is wonderful. It makes me feel good to be able to manage my book buying in this way. So the first book, I couldn't believe I didn't own. I thought I owned it at some point, but then I realized I didn't. And I have been watching Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction, I think her channel name is. I will leave her link down below. But it is, she's reread, and this is like one of her favorite childhood books, The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. One of the videos that I'm planning for and that I've actually read for now. I just have to have a computer to put the video together, is books from the early 1960s. And this was published in the early 1960s, and I realized that I didn't have it on my shelves and that I wanted it because I have started it, and then I remember going through a life transition and not finishing it, but really enjoying what I had read thus far. So I am so glad I have this. And I've read 2.5, almost 3 books from the early 1960s. And I'm really excited to share some more information about that I found really interesting, like books that we still read today from that time period, and also the New York Times bestsellers of those years. Really fascinating stuff. Some books have really permeated our like public consciousness during from way back then. And some that like were bestsellers for, not this, some books from the 1960s that were bestsellers for literally years, actually like for months and months and months. I have never even heard of, and I don't think anybody reads today. It's so fascinating. So I was remembering as I was doing some research for my 1960s video, where I read books from that time period. I look up, books that I recognize, books that were being published during that time period. And then for this video, I was going to look up the New York Times bestsellers from those years. This book I came across and I was like, oh yeah, I don't own it. And then I saw it at the secondhand store and I decided to get it. Then, I actually bought a book that I already own. I just own it in a pocket paperback, and this is far more the format I would want to read it in. And it is White Oleander by Janet Finch. Actually Olive, who I will leave linked down below. She's got a huge channel. Like my channel is peanuts compared to hers. Not that I compare, but you probably heard it on her channel first. This was one of her favorite books the year that she read it. Here's what's fascinating though, is that I've been reading more fiction books that Olive has really loved, and I find that either we are in sync, we both love like the book, or we are so far the opposite of our tastes are so opposite of each other at times. It is kind of amazing. So we have White Oleander here, and then I bought a historical fiction book that my friend Anita has been telling me about and has been encouraging. She just thinks that I would really like it, and her and I have very, very similar tastes. And it is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I'm sure that I've been recommended this like several times, so I'm not surprised that I finally picked it up. It's one of those books that if I see it at a used bookstore, like I'll hold it for a little while, but it's also one of the first that will get cut when I am whittling my books down. So then I saw it, and it's in this beautiful hardcover. Not that, actually, I don't really love hardcover books, but I thought this was really pretty. It's not too heavy. It's not like a super heavy hardcover, and it's also just not like an oversized hardcover book. So I thought it would be quite comfortable to read in this format, and I've heard really great things about it. And then finally, which I think is like the pièce de résistance, because this book has been swirling around in my consciousness. I read Tom Lake by Ann Patchett this summer, and then which heavily influences this play. And if you have read the book, you probably already put it together. But then also this play showed up in Steve Donahue's, who's got a channel here, his best books of all time. Like he made a best books of all time video, and I very much like respect his opinion. And so he said, Our Town by Thornton Wilder was one of the best books of all time. And so I was like, huh. And he said it like right after I had finished Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, in which most of the book is about the main character playing the pivotal role in this play, and a summer in which she played that role and also had sort of a, a magical, not teen, but like early 20s summer while being in this role and having all these other experiences that really shaped her life. So I was like, Our Town, and apparently it's a very famous, like y'all are probably going to be already typing in the comments like, we know, I can't believe you didn't know about Our Town. I knew nothing about Our Town. Why didn't somebody tell me this is the most famous play of all time? You probably assumed that I know, but I didn't know. So yeah, so there's this, and I'm like, we're in Shorty September now. I kind of want to read it now, but again, my reading has been a little weird these days. I don't know. I'm having weird reading days. So let's talk about what I'm planning on reading. I am about to jump on the John Boyne train. I've not read any John Boyne. I've not read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I've not read another title he's written or another title that he has written because I don't even know the things that he's written. I just know he wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and the book that I'm about to pick up, which I'm going to read for book club. My book club that meets online, but we're offline. It's you know, anyways, y'all know. So I have not an in-person book club, it's an online book club. That is just me and a couple of friends. So we are going to be reading John Boyne's The Heart's Invisible Furies, which apparently won the inaugural Booktube prize. Thank you, Nathan, for telling me that. I had no idea. The Booktube prize is a literary prize in which influencers or online book participants and creators judge the prize. And so The Heart's Invisible Furies won the first year that the Booktube prize was running. And so anyways, I'm starting that very soon. And I think I'm going to be starting Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McNaughty. I'll put a picture up on the screen. I think I'm going to be starting that very, very soon too. So yeah, it's been weird. Basically 3 books in a row, y'all. 3 books in a row. I have read a book. All 3 of them, I had such high hopes. It's basically like, I thought they would be 5-star reads. Not that I even rate, like I thought they would be favorites. That's probably more in line with my thinking. I thought they would be favorites. 3 books in a row. I thought they would be favorites and they were highly disappointing. Like, y'all, and some of these are very popular books. I feel like I have some contention coming my way, but it's okay. I already declared that I didn't like A Gentleman in Moscow. I mean, there were things I liked about it, but ultimately no. So anyways, that's it. This is all that has been going on with me. And yeah, it's been weird, guys. It's not been my favorite. I mean, now it's getting better, but it's been weird. So I figured I'd sit down and chat with you all about what's been going on. It's just, you know, and just chat with you all about what's been going on. Get your thoughts together, girl. Because, you know, I care about y'all and I love interacting with you. I love seeing your comments. Even if you want to just put a little emoji down there, that would be great for me too. But if not, mostly I'm just glad that you're here and that we're spending time together. And it's been really hard to like, usually I have little planned videos, like weird books. I was like looking up this morning, weird books that I've read. I'm like, I have a hard time wanting to sit down and film that because I feel like I have all this other stuff bubbling up in my thoughts and feelings, and I want to share that first and break down that wall so that you know where I'm at, and then I can film the weird books video. I better not promise that because some of my weird books are kind of like run-of-the-mill weird books, like everybody knows they're weird, and then some of them I'm like, they're weird, but are they actually that weird? I don't know. Let me know if you'd want to see a weird books video. What other video was I thinking about making? I can't remember. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much for, oh, I was going to revisit the books I bought 3 years ago. Interesting things going on with Shelley 3 years ago when I was buying books and showing them on YouTube, like a book haul revisit or whatever. I was thinking about doing that too. But again, it's hard when I feel like there's something in place of my feelings with y'all. And so I clearly had a lot to say. I'm gonna stop this video now. I have just been rambling. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.